we finally have some actual live basketball. Does it count? Does it matter? Who knows? We'll be the judge of that. But Arizona's overseas playing some international scrimmages. We're going to break down what we liked. Mo Krivas, Ivan Kurchenkov, Caleb Holt, a whole lot more. And we're going to run through a whole bunch of returners who could potentially jump this year's freshman class, since this 2027 draft class is so wide open. We got a couple deep cut prospects to keep an eye on. And Rucker's got to prove me wrong. That could be a little spicy. Can't wait. Let's party. Welcome to another episode of the No Ceilings Podcast. I'm Tyler Metcalf, joined as always by Tyler Rucker. Rucker, back-to-back nights, back-to-back days, back-to-back episodes. How are we doing?
Doing great. Metcalf, how the hell are you? What a beautiful time of the year. How are we doing, sir?
We have live basketball to watch. So that's not high school stuff. It's incredible. What else could you ask for in mid-August?
Is it a problem? Like, I just get like a shot of adrenaline anytime there's just like a link to like, oh, you need to follow the stream on YouTube, and it's just international announcers that I can't understand a word you're saying. There might be drums beaten, but I don't care. Check ball up top. Let's get after it. I love this. The problem is I feel like some teams secretly don't promote it well enough. Arizona has just been like with neon lights, like, hey, the games are here. Here's the YouTube channel. Here's the links. And it's beautiful. Some games you have to go on a scavenger hunt to find everything. So it's great. It gets the itch going.
Yeah, I was really excited to dive into these games because I've had like the Arkansas ones from the Bahamas pinned to the top of my web browser for like 3 weeks now, and just I'm getting to them. But I was able to get to Arizona versus Lithuania, the speed team. We were able to watch Arizona beat Ukraine. Arizona lost to Lithuania 99-88 in that first game. They beat Ukraine 107-85 in game 2. I believe they're playing Saturday as well, so keep an eye out for that. Probably streaming on YouTube yet again, and they're a pretty seamless watch. You know, video quality isn't the best thing in the world, but you get to see a lot of these top freshmen, a lot of the top returners, and one of the best teams in college basketball, and you get a really good sense for what some of these guys are looking like in terms of the returners. What were they working on in the offseason? In terms of the freshmen, how ready are they to contribute? And what does their potential role look like going into this year? And just stylistically, what is Arizona looking to do? So take it however you want. If you want to stay big picture, if you want to dive into something granular with a specific player. But after these two kind of scrimmages, what were your just initial impressions with Arizona?
I mean, obviously we're overreaction time, but it's like Metcalf said perfectly. This is a fun time to kind of start to get an idea for the impact. The freshmen guys look like they're taking the next step. So, and Tommy Lloyd's doing a good job of you're trying to figure out who's going to be in the rotation. So you're playing a lot of names overseas. I think they can do. Why teams like to do this so much is I think then you're allowed to practice earlier than the rules. If you agree to go overseas and have friendlies, that's why so many teams are doing this. So my biggest takeaway is Metcalf. Big picture wise, if I'm a college basketball fan, I think Arizona's bench is still a work in progress. They're gonna have to figure out some depth pieces, some guys that could be stepping up. I think that will come with time. That's gonna be fine. They got some fun, intriguing names. It's just who's gonna kind of rise to the top, cement themselves. Caleb Holt can play. He's been frozen cold shooting and has been, as expected, one of the best players on the court. I mean, I think he's shooting like 30% from the field in his first 2 games combined on high volume. And he had a game today where it was like 15, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. He has some possessions defensively where I'm like, oh my goodness, how quick and nasty you are. And I think the big thing for me was Holt, Metcalf, and then I'll let you ramble because spoiler alert, I want to talk about Ivan Karchenkov for probably an hour and a half. But with Holt, he's got to figure out a little bit of it's the good, the classic. We got to pull the reins a little bit to slow him down.
Mm-hmm.
But his isn't off balance. It's just pit bull power into you. Like he gets possessions and like offensive rebounds and works because he's just so physical going at people. Like he goes right into bigs. It's hard to explain, but like you don't see that type of balance composure when you're going at someone. I feel like he's balanced midair balance. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's kind of freaky when you're like, wow, he just like has a gift to kind of take on contact and just be unfazed at 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, and he's really strong. He's really tenacious. He's got an incredibly high motor and just really good, just kind of like natural balance on a lot of these drives that allows him to kind of create space with those drives, lowers his shoulder, doesn't quite push off, but creates that contact, is able to maintain his own balance. So, like, once he does create that space, he's not rushing or having to like take that second step to readjust or anything like that, and he's able to get a shot up. I thought he looked fantastic, and that's with him not being able to buy a shot at the rim from three. He just couldn't make anything in either of these games, but I never got the sense of like, oh man, he's taking bad shots. Like
Right.
the process was good, the shot selection was good, the way that he was moving within the flow of the offense and taking clean looks for the vast majority of them, he just couldn't get anything to fall. I thought the shot did look a lot better off the catch than the bounce. As that off ball scorer, someone that you can put in movement and kind of have him running off screens, running off handoffs into the middle of the floor to then use that off ball movement to generate on ball scoring reps or some playmaking opportunities for him. I think there's a lot of really fun stuff that we're going to see grow within Caleb Holt's game throughout this year in terms of how they use him, the different levels of responsibility that they throw at him. They ran a couple possessions in that Ukraine game with him at the point. I thought that was interesting. I thought a lot of his playmaking stuff was a little too predetermined, but he's a two guard. So it's like, okay, well, you're not playing point, so I expect that mid August. I I'm not surprised by that. It's not a red flag by any means, but I'm really excited to see what it looks like in November and then January and in March and see what the difference looks like throughout this season because the process with him on both ends of the floor, it was just outstanding, especially on the defensive end. I thought the way that he was flying all over the place, making off ball rotations, jumping passing lanes, challenging guys at the rim from the weak side, gobbling up rebounds galore and then pushing in transition. I don't know. Obviously, it would have been great if he came out and shot 60%, but I don't know what else he could have done in these two games to get Arizona fans more excited about what he's bringing to the table.
Look, we've already started talking to him this way about this class, and we've said like, hey, everyone's going to say Tyron Stokes, freshman at Kansas, but this is why I say it's wide open because like you watch Caleb Holt, and he's the best player by far in the court in terms of talent and upside, and that's on a cold shooting stretch for 2 games. If the shot comes around, like this is my wild card to get a real run at the top. Like I think just because of the toughness, the two-way upside, if he checks in at 6'5" ish, with good length, with good pop, with good toughness, um, there's a lot of paths for him to all of a sudden be a real like teams are just kind of like drooling over Caleb Holt of being like, is this a I don't even know, like a way too early pro comp, but like, is this a Drew Holiday ish type of guy? Is this? I got D Wade stuck in my head because of the other episode we just did. But like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he is a
Mhm.
physical, big combo guard that wants to hunt the lane, and he can shoot it a little bit. It's just got to be a consistent. Now I'm saying he can shoot it a little bit, and he's what 10 for 33-ish from the field in 2 games. So got to figure that out. But I think there's a lot of upside with his game. What else you got? Anything on Caleb Holt, or do we need to stop burying the
but like
lead?
just to further emphasize kind of what we've been
Yeah,
saying, and I guess triple down on it at this point. But at this point in the year, I would much rather him play the way that he did rather than play worse, but just be on a heater and be out there
I
chucking
agree.
up shots and making absurd things because that'd be fun. That'd be better for this for social clips and throwing out highlights on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the actual basketball and in terms of what actually matters, I absolutely loved what we saw because of that. If he shoots 30% all year, then okay, cool, it's not going to be good enough. I don't expect that to be the case, though. Aside from Caleb Holt, I thought Ivan Karchenkov was the biggest standout in these 2 games. I thought he looked tremendous. The defense was terrific, as it kind of always is. So that wasn't a shocker. The rebounding was good. I thought his offense looked so much better. And not to the point of him being a lethal shooter or anything like that. I thought it looked a little smoother, a little more comfortable, a little more confident, but just everything in his offense was quicker. It was more decisive. It was more confident. It was more comfortable. The way that he got from point A to point B, that straight line speed, the ability to get downhill, finish through contact, finish at different angles around the rim. I thought it was fantastic. And then you sprinkle in some of the connective passing. I really, really loved what he showed on the offensive end.
He looks fantastic. He looks outstanding. He looks like this is what you're dreaming of the sophomore league. Like every sophomore or every freshman that decided last year they're going to return for their sophomore year, we're praying it looks like this.
Yeah.
Braylon Mullins, we're praying it looks like that. Every single part, we're like, oh my gosh, but I'm in a dangerous world with him. How high do you think he could get? I think top 10 is not crazy.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
I really don't. I'm saying end of the year. I'm looking at this class. I get very uncomfortable fast with the top 10.
Sure.
And if I have a 6'8", 225, 230 tough 2-way 3-and-D plus, that's a really smart player also.
Well, I'm going to need that 3 to actually be a
you need a higher volume.
Legitimate.
Oh, 100%. You need a higher volume. Probably what? 5 attempts to get top 10. What do we need? 5 attempts a game?
What was he at? Oh,
he had to be low last year. 6 or 7 is a lot.
And he was at 5. And
he was at 5 last year?
He was at 5.3 per 100.
Per 100. Okay.
He took 104 attempts last year, which was way more than I thought he took.
That's a big number compared
but
to
at 31.7%. That's way more volume than I was anticipating.
I would have guessed like 70s.
I was going to say like half of that. But I guess later in the year he started letting it fly a little more. But
he's the White Russian.
And if he gets that up to like 7 or 8 attempts per 100 possessions and is at like 35%, that would be huge. I think that would be.
Yeah, I'm really spicy. It's August. I'm getting spicy, but I do think lottery is legit opportunity. This isn't like he's gonna be he can be a sophomore that can defend the crap, and he's a smart player. He's good feel, but I'm interested to see this Arizona team in a couple months because I wonder if they're going to play a little bit like they're going to feed him a little bit more than we might be expecting. I wonder if he's going to be more of a decision maker, not point forward. I don't think he has the handle to do that, but maybe like kind of running the offense, the top of the key a little bit, making some decisions.
They had a couple possessions
in
the second half of the Ukraine game where they had him bringing it up, and like they didn't really ask him to do much with it. It was just like, hey, you're bringing it up, initiate the offense, like get us into whatever action that we're running here. Like he wasn't making high level reads; it was just kicking things off. But he wasn't doing that last year. They weren't trusting him to do that. So who knows? We'll see.
I know you jumped on me when I said top 10. I don't think it's that nuts. Now a lot of things need to happen, but I'm
Yeah,
projecting like big steps forward. What has he got? He's got in 2 games, he's almost averaging 25 a game
extrapolate
exhibitions,
that
but
out to 30 games in the like we're good.
we're good. 25 a game, we're good.
That's sustainable, surely.
Well, look, I mean, 2 games, he's got what? He rolled his ankle today too, which
Yeah.
I thought it was like a break. It was that bad of a roll, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had a
Well,
heart attack on my
he came back
couch."
and played.
Yeah, exactly. He's Russian. He's got to play. Uh, what does he got? He's got 8 stocks total. Um, I think he's got 6 assists to 1 turnover. He's just a smart player,
Yeah.
and I think teams just go crazy over the positional size, toughness, intangibles, kind of like that. They'll know what he is. He won't last long. Now, he might not go lottery, but I don't think he's going to make it outside like the top 20 if he's taking another step forward this year. But we got a long way to go. I love him.
Someone else who I think may have a long way to go,
Oh wow, what a
Derek
transition.
Dixon.
Oh, okay, there. Okay. Ooh.
And just I like Dixon, but this is more so just Arizona's point guard position in general, because this program has been kind of spoiled with a lot of stability at that spot over the last 5, 6 years,
Point guard
with
you.
Jaden Bradley, with Caleb Love, obviously 2 very different players, but, like, you knew what you were getting, and this year, it's a big, big question mark for this team. It's I think it's my biggest question mark. I like Derek Dixon a lot, transfer from UNC, but he's still looking a little more like that kind of 2 like, leaning more towards, like, the combo guard, the 2 guard type of role. Some of the connective passing that he was making, some of the touch passes, made a couple really gorgeous reads to the roller where he's looking off weak side defenders and being patient with it. So I'm excited to see what that growth continues to look like, um, month by month, and hopefully it's pretty exponential. And if it is, then I'm going to be really really excited. But I'm not sure that they have that steadying point guard presence that Jaden Bradley tended to give them last year when he was healthy and, staying out of foul trouble. Um, I like Derek Dixon, but in both these games, I thought he looked at his best when he was playing more off ball.
I'm with you. They've got a bundle of combo guards right now. I need to also say they haven't had JJ Maniquit hasn't played. I'm
True,
sorry if I
very true,
butchered.
very true.
And
Good shout.
RJ Godfrey hasn't played. But what you're getting at, Metcalf, which is right, is these type of games make it very obvious of how important Maniquit's going to be.
Yeah,
Because you get to tight situation, big time opponent games. And if I was opposition, I would just be smothering Dixon and Caleb Holt. And they can handle, but like they need just a clear like ball handler that's just like, okay, you gonna pressure me? I'll pick you apart. But those guys are more like toughness, combo guard, speed. Dixon looks like a guy that would be really smart to be like, I'm gonna trust the process this year, be on the Caleb Love route, where maybe like junior year, you're really gonna start reaping the benefits. But he has flashes of like you kind of get intrigued of like, okay, maybe if we just keep stacking, maybe you're hoping
yeah.
middle of the year something clicks, and
Like, I think
I
he'll
like
get
him.
there. I just
Yeah,
don't know the timeline for it. Like, how long or short is that timeline for him to really? Because it's a tough transition. So I'm not trying to say that this is an easy thing that I'm hoping he emerges into. Because when you're that combo guard and you're riding that fine line between, all right, are you going to be a little more of a one? Are you going to be a little more of a two? It's a crucial kind of fork in the road for a lot of those guys, and it's really tough to go down one road or the other and really mold your game, especially if you're leaning, before that to the other side. So I'm not trying to say that Derek Dixon is coming up short and missing expectations or anything like that, because it's a lot of work to do, and I think he'll get there eventually. It's just is eventually mid-year or is it the start of next year?
yeah. I'm right there with you. There's a good player there. It's just it might not be a hey, you transferred to Arizona and now you're going to be declaring next year. I think it could be a like hey, you'd be really smart to take your time here and you can really turn into a heck of a basketball player. It screams the hey, look what we've done for Caleb Love and Jaden Bradley. We can do the same for you because he can play. He's a smart player. It just needs time this season.
Yeah, and like like his passing from the two guard
Yes.
spot is awesome. The passing from the point guard spot is like that's okay. Two other names that I kind of left important or I thought meaningful impressions for me. Cameron Holmes, I think, is really intriguing. Loved his defense, some connective passing stuff there. Um, Fellow freshman with Caleb Holt, probably not a one and done guy. Curious what his actual miniature will look like in the regular season, but the kid has some tools, and I think long term is going to be really interesting. Then Mo Krivas is the big one for me because before he withdrew from last year's draft, he probably would have ended up like a top 20, top 25 guy for me. Love the defense, love the rebounding, love the play finishing, but then the at rim finishing is just it's never been good enough. And I came away from there was some good stuff that he showed in both these games, mainly on the defensive end, but I came away really underwhelmed with him in these games.
It's tough because it seems like always in these exhibition games, you do leave with one guy that's just kind of like, ugh, I wanted so much more. And Krivas was the one that I feel like a lot of draft sickos, a lot of people that know Steelers, we're getting very excited about. You want to see some real progress from Krivas because it seems like he just has all the opportunity to really be one of the top centers in this class, even as a senior. There's a lot of questions with these younger prospects. I would say there's a lot of question marks with this class in terms of just like who's going to be ready to take a next step in their development, who's looking like they might be a more of a project and maybe is a returning type of player. So there's like almost more intrigue with these upperclassmen because you kind of know what they are. And you're spot on, Metcalf. I think Krivas had a lot of steam last year where I was kind of shocked he went back, but I also understood it because I was like, okay, I get it. You're going to get
Yeah.
paid. And it didn't seem like he's going to drop too much because it's kind of like you're probably still going to be in that conversation, if not better next year. But man, the finishing drives me nuts. It drives me insane as an Arizona fan. He's so gigantic in person. I think he's like what 7'2", 270. They have him listed at or
Feels
7'3".
bigger.
He looks bigger in person. He's humongous. And the guy, so many times I watch him, he plays like he's 6'9", and I'm like, ugh, it drives me nuts. So,
But, like, he only does, like, when it comes to finishing because every other instance when he's in the paint or around the rim, he's a physical presence, like 84th percentile on cuts, 83rd percentile on post-ups, 63rd percentile as the roller, which that should be in the 80s. But the reason that matters and, like, the finishing issues really matter is because 14.4 offensive rebounding rate. That's really high. Um, he had a free throw rate last year of 70.3. That is astronomical. And if you're not finishing these, bunnies, these putbacks, you're missing out on extra points. Instead of shooting one free throw for a 3-point play, you're shooting two free throws. And it's weird because 78% on free throws seems like some encouraging scoring touches there, but the big fall off for him. Like I ran through like post ups, cuts, roller, all kind of above average scoring stuff. 18th percentile in points per possession on putbacks. So he has so he's generating a ton of offensive rebounds and not finishing any of them. On offensive putbacks, he shot 53.2%. On layups, he shot 60.8%. Now, the reason in a vacuum, those numbers mean nothing. But like when we look at some of the top bigs from last year's class, Adai Mara, Hannah Steinbeck, Adai Mara was in the 92nd percentile on offensive putbacks and shot 77.8% on those. Hannah Steinbeck, 79th percentile, shot 63.8%. On layups, Adaimara, 71.7%, Hannah Steinbeck, 63.8%. All of those numbers are significantly higher than Krivas, and he's just leaving easy points on the table and just playing kind of soft, and it's just bewildering because there are so many other instances of his offense. They're like, this dude's got touch, this dude can finish, this dude can score, and he just never did last year.
Yeah, it's I like Krivas. I just those are alarm. I'm trying to be nice. Those are alarming for when there's a lot of people out there be like, oh, this is top 10, top 15. Like I take them in the lottery, and I'm like, well, hold on a sec. Like bigs like this, you gotta have the FU mentality inside. Like you get an offensive rebound, you gotta have all right, I'm dunking on 3 people because how dare you try to challenge me, you ants. Like Edie had that, and I should have bought in way more, but Edie had the how dare you try to stop me around the basket? I am going to eat you while I put this through the rig. Klingon had a little bit of that too. Like he developed it where it was the nastiness. And I constantly am always waiting for Krivas to show it. And I feel like maybe I saw a game in person where he might have had 4 or 5 just like offensive rebounds he couldn't finish. And I was like, I'm going to lose my mind and pull my skin off my face. Like what? Just dunk the ball. Like try to go dunk over someone once. I'm not attacking Krivas. It's just that's the next part of his game where I'm like, you gotta just
it's his swing skill.
Yes. It's what prevents probably most teams from being like, I would skyrocket him at boards, but he's kind of a jumbo drop big. Like he that can't finish much. And it's tough to
And he was one of the
really
best
too early.
He was one of the best defensive centers in the country last year.
He's
And if
great
he
on
could,
defense.
like literally, if he could make a layup, he would have been a top 20 pick last year.
It's like because Walker Kessler is nasty around the rim too, right? Like,
yeah,
there's just a big chunk of the cake missing with Krivas to be like, you have a very fun path to being a longtime center in the NBA, even as a backup. If you don't hit your, potential, you'd be a very valuable backup because of your defense. But the finishing just always gives me such a headache. And I'm like, ugh, like, come on, man. But it's he throws some bullets on his baby hook. And he he starts off his first exhibition game, pick and roll, dunk, like boom, boom, dunk. I was like, oh yeah, we're rolling. Then he throws like a lefty hook, I feel like later, and it was beautiful. And then I was like, please just tell me we're trending in the right direction. And then I think he gets another one later, just bullet line drive clank. And I was like, just all PTSD hit me at once. I was like, we're so back and I'm going to have a rough year. But I like Krivas. I would be scared drafting that too early. But he could play. He's solid. He's going to be valuable. It's just, you're right. You're spot on, Metcalf. He's leaving so many easy points. Like his points per game should be way higher because he just can't finish.
Like he's doing the tough job. Like he's doing the hard work already by gathering the offensive rebounds, by drawing the fouls, and then just not taking advantage of the easy stuff, which is finishing. And we said really similar things to Adaimara when he was at UCLA.
Yes.
So we're not saying it's impossible because we've seen it a lot, but we also need to see it before it's like, oh, we're good to go. But that's one of the joys in returning. Now, Krivas isn't the only returner who has a huge chance this year to really boost their draft stock, to jump a lot of these freshmen on big boards and mock drafts, and finally on draft night. And I made that hot take foolishly last year of this is going to be the first draft since 2013 where we have more returners go ahead of freshmen in the top 10. That was stupid. But could 2027 be that year? So that
But let me double down.
See, I wasn't wrong. I was just early. And I'm going to keep saying that until I'm right. But there are a lot of returners who I think have an awesome chance to go top 10 because this draft class is wide open, especially at the very top, in the middle, at the late first. So obviously Mo Krivas is one of those guys, but Trey McKinney, Tunde Yesufu, Billy Richmond, Braylon Mullins, Dame Sarr, Juke Harris, Amari Allen, Ivan Karchenkov, Pat Ngongba, Shelton Henderson, Tyler Tanner. Like there are so many more too that could really easily work their way into top 20 lottery, top 10 conversations, and it be for legitimate reasons that aren't just like, oh, well, who else are we gonna take? There, I think there's so much talent returning this year to college basketball.
Ton of talent. There's a ton of talent. I everyone's gonna dog this freshman class. I don't think it deserves it. I think it's just a little bit more raw. I need some time on the grill. Um, but I really like these returners. I'm very intrigued with a lot of them. Maybe, you know, top 20, like absolutely. I think some guys could get up there. And I also think there's like some returners that could start to sprinkle like late first, early second that we're not thinking of with another big year. But like, you know, I'm trying to think of some other who could really pop up. Daniel Jacobson at
Yeah,
Purdue, maybe he could be a big time riser.
I think my boy Drew Skarnowski, Belmont transfer going to Duke, is going to shock a lot of people.
Fox at Illinois, I'm in love with him.
Yeah,
Stephen Fox.
yeah,
That's I love him. I think Matthew Abel could be a shocker at North Carolina. He's gonna be so. Yeah, thank you for the Juke Harris shout out. I'll slip you a 20 after the pod. That's my guy. Trey McKinney's a good shout too. There's a lot of returners. I like a ton of them.
and like there are obviously thousands, hundreds and hundreds that I didn't mention. Some people are all in on Elijah Arenas. Like,
Shelton Henderson, Miami.
yeah,
Love
yeah,
him.
yeah. He's incredible. So give me a couple who you're really excited about, who you think legitimately could get into like that top 5 to 10 conversation, and what you would need to see from them to kind of hit that mark.
Oh, top 5 to top 10.
I don't know, just really jump up there in the draft.
You just want me to talk about Braylon Mullins for the 900th time? Okay, fine, I'll do it.
No, throw me whoever. Throw me Duke Harris.
Mullins, I think could easily get up there. I will be shocked if he's not in that conversation.
Well, what would he need to do? Because he withdrew quickly.
Yeah,
So what would he need to do to actually get there?
on ball juice, finishing, show a little bit more of the mid range game. I think just like the versatility of not just being like, okay, this is a sharpshooter, because he has it. You can see a couple like you'll see a couple spin dribbles, fadeaways from the baseline where you're like, that's an NBA move. Or you see him kind of post up sometimes where you're like, gosh, feed him more. And I think UConn knows they're going to feed him a lot more this year. But like, I need that. I need defensively, he got to stop being so handsy. It's a good problem to have, but he just needs to get the reins pulled back a little bit. He's a smart two-way player. Now he needs the game to slow down a little bit. So I think Mullins has a good pass. Oh, and then me and you've talked about this before, and you've spotlighted it. We got to see him as a cutter. It's one of his best skills. I think that like they didn't showcase enough last year. So it sounds like a lot. It's all very fixable probably with a good offseason and just like, okay, reset, got a full year, know what to work on. I think it'll be fine. But do you have anyone off the top of your head while I look at my list?
Yeah, and just quickly with Mullins,
Totally.
He was used as almost just like a distraction as like an off-ball shooter last year and nothing else. He cannot have another year where he has a sub 10 assist rate or a 10.4 free throw rate. The defense was good. I have no concerns about the shooting. he just has to be more involved and like consistently involved with the offense, and I think he will be. Um, I think one guy that we both mentioned, Shelton Henderson. I love this dude. That
I
he's
didn't know that you were in
strong.
on the Shelton train.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
oh
good
yeah.
for you. I love him.
I have him as a first rounder right now.
I did too.
Um, like he's tough, he's physical, he's confident, he's smart. Um, can't shoot at all. So need to see some sort of a jumper develop. Don't need him to be Clay Thompson, but need him to be Dylan Brooks. That'd be awesome. Um, that'd be a astronomical leap. So even lowered the expectations from there. But seeing a little more in terms of the playmaking, seeing a little more in terms of the scoring versatility. Doesn't have to be a lethal shooter, but needs the volume to be a little higher. Need the efficiency and versatility to be a little higher. But the tools and the upside with this kid on both ends of the floor just absolutely rock. And he's 6'6", 6'7" wing at Miami going into his sophomore year.
I'm trying to find my notes about because I saw him. This is going to be too. If you have another one, go for it. I'm trying to find my notes about him because I saw him at Formula Zero a couple years ago, and no one is talking about. Terrace Bowie's another name that no one's ever talking about. He's going to be at Bama, and I really like him. I think everyone needs to watch out. I pulled up the wrong Formula Zero. Rip off of oh, here we go. I had the same takeaway with my notes, I was like the shot looks like it needs to come around a little bit more consistent. There's some upside with it, but he was a force. This is when he was also like going into his freshman year, and he was playing against some tough guys. Like he was beating people with his strength. I said he just got to unlock the versatility off the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I felt watching him the first time, I was like, is this the new age Shemi Ojale? There's a shout out for everyone. But I still think there's more upside with his game than that. But like that type of asset you're talking about, is this a potential Jay Crowder if the three comes around, or is this a PJ Tucker or some guys like that where it's like, hey, you have the pass to play for a very long time if you get that shot taken developed. I like Henderson, man. I think this is gonna be a fun Miami team.
Yeah,
this year. You were asking me for a couple more.
Yeah, just give me one more because we could spend 12 hours running through returners, and we'll talk about them, in length. But just give
returners.
Give me one more that's getting you excited, and you think that there's like a very reasonable and realistic point of development that could be factored into their game that really skyrockets their draft stock.
The entire Texas team? No, on a serious note, I'll shock you with my answer. Besides Vox at Illinois, I just love him.
Yeah.
And if you can shoot and play like that, you're going to get intrigued. Damesar?
Okay. Huge fan.
I think the defensive strides in the second half of the season last year were very loud. And not just to fans, not just to, Blue Devil Nation, probably to executives and scouts. And you take note of that. Like, oh, Dame looked really dang good at the end of the year. And now you got a full off season. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on ball juice. Let's see if the shot's a little more consistent. Let's see if we take a big jump across the board. Yeah. I have no idea what to make of this Duke team. I mean this in the nicest way to Duke fans. They have a lot of talented recruits. I don't know. I think the best player on that team.
He's 17. He's not going to be eligible for 2028. So you're getting 2 years of him, Duke fans. Congrats.
That's what I was going to say. The best player on Duke right now can't
but
get drafted.
I would let that kind of form your expectations for this year.
And it's not close.
No.
So I don't mean to. I don't think people should take that and be like, oh, Duke's so good that they're best player. No. I think the rest of it is really up in the air. I don't know who's going to be guys that are playing major minutes at the end of the year. I know everyone wants probably to be like, the answer should have been Pat Nagongba. That's in the room over there. I just
maybe, hopefully,
it could be.
I hope so.
You know what Pat needs to do is don't
Stay
watch
healthy.
Krivas film.
Pat needs to stay healthy. He needs to get in shape and stay healthy.
Stay
and
healthy, and Pat
stay out of
should.
foul trouble.
He's got. It's the yellow brick road leading him to, like, if you just took the offseason serious and stay healthy, and you have all the opportunity in the world to be one of the first bigs off the board. So it should be Pat. I just don't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Anyone for you?
Yeah. Well, my last one, Tunde Yesfu.
That's what I was going to say. We haven't talked about Tunde, and this is a good bounce. Go ahead.
Yeah. So transferring from Baylor to St. John's, not the freshman season I was expecting. I thought we were going to get volume scorer Tunde with no defense, because that's basically what he showed in high school. And we almost got the exact opposite, where I actually ended up coming away really encouraged with his defense. And maybe that's just because the bar was so low for me going into his freshman season, that I thought a lot of what he did with his on-ball defense, with his defensive playmaking, with the off-ball growth was so encouraging. And the dude just could not make a jumper all year. Ended up shooting 29.5% from three, constantly missed layups. We talked about that like mid-year. That was a big pain point for you. I remember it was like, my guy, you're overcomplicating everything at the rim. You're not drawing fouls. You're not finishing layups. You're avoiding contact. You have a sub 30 free throw rate for someone as big and strong and as athletic as he is. That's inexcusable. So I would also love, the playmaking and passing reads weren't there at all either. So there are a lot of different areas where Tunde could grow and should grow and needs to grow. But if we get the same defense from him as his freshman year, with just some natural development combined with just better scoring, like, he doesn't need to light the nuts on fire, but can you get to the line a little more consistently? Can you be just average as an at-rim finisher? Can you shoot over 32% from three? And if we get more of that 3-and-D mold that gives us like legitimate Aaron Nesmith vibes, like legitimate Dylan Brooks vibes, legitimate KCP vibes, like that type of player, and you're able to almost bank on. I know those players don't sound like awesome, like, yeah, we're getting that guy in the lottery, but I think if you're in the mid to late lottery and that type of player with even more upside is sitting there, and you're seeing really astronomical and meaningful growth year over year, I get pretty excited about that.
Tunde has a very realistic path to just all of a sudden be like, there he is, he's back. And all of a sudden we're like, oh wow, okay, this is the one we've been looking for. I think Baylor has a history of it just being brutal. That team last year was viciously brutal. One time, I feel like I had Baylor fans that I would talk to that were like, I want to pour acid in my eyes watching this team. Thank goodness for Cameron Carr and Tunde sometimes. But look, a couple of years ago, the same thing I just talked about with Sheldon Henderson. Like, I saw Tunde at that event, Formula Zero. Metcalf, thank you for the shout. But like, my number one takeaway was like, man, Tunde looked great. I'm starting to get worried about the finishing. I want to see how it looks at Baylor. He's got to figure out that part, because he's still the old wired of like, I could just bully people in high school to the basket. Can't do that anymore. You're not just the tough guy on the streets anymore. Yeah. There's a lot of tough guys now. So he's got to figure that out. But like, I can't think of a better transition than going from Baylor to St. John's toughness basketball. Like, Rick's going to be great for him. And if he just buys all in on that, I think it could be outstanding, and he could really kind of become the prospect we were hoping for. Because I'm with you. The defense shocked me last year. I was way like, wow, okay. But there was times when, I saw him at Players Era Festival last year, and I was just like, man, I'm underwhelmed. with Tunde, and I'm shocked. I'm underwhelmed
Yeah.
this early in the year, and it wasn't just one game; it was multiple games. I was like, "Wow, okay, just kind of all right." And I can't wait to see him at St. John's because he could just bounce back Metcalf and be one of these guys where we're like, maybe not top 10, but maybe we're like, hey, firmly top 20 now. Like we're there. Be interesting to see. I don't think he needs to blow the box scores off this year. He needs to just learn how to be a combo guard and a smart player and more complete.
Well, there are some big names in terms of returners that we ran through, so a bunch that we barely touched on, who have a chance to really skyrocket their draft stock, but there are also a bunch of deep cuts. So Rucker, who's your deep cut that you think people absolutely need to keep an eye on and get more familiar with?
CJ Shaw, Santa Barbara. Look, this is what drives me crazy about the no ceilings team. He's going to be a sophomore this year. I thought I was like, hey, okay, I'm going to shine some spotlight on a deep cut. Put on Jam and Steven, the draft sicko boys, and they had a segment the other day about CJ Shaw. And I'm like, gosh, dang it, these sickos just always trying to be ahead of the guys are grinders. So shout out to the fellas. But I'm very intrigued. I always like to kind of look at more of the like, hey, who's the freshman that's going to take a big leap as a returner that gets on the radar and make noise. I think CJ Shaw from Santa Barbara's got a little bit of just fun stuff. I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued. Could be a nice little like, hey, okay, here we go. We're cooking a little bit. Don't know if it's going to be this year guy, but he looks like a guy that could be, the league could be calling eventually. So maybe he's a sophomore elite guy that all of a sudden the junior year he's on that, that AJ Mitchell path. We'll see. What about you?
So give me the elevator pitch. Give me the sales pitch. Who does he remind you of? What style of basketball does he play? Is he a defensive stopper? Is he a 3-point specialist? Does he have on ball juice? Is he a playmaker? What do you need to see from him this year? And who does he remind you of? How does he play?
I'll give you a better one. Shout out to our boy Christian at Enjoy. He did an interview with him, and he's like, "What player do you you're gonna like this?" He said, "What NBA player do you kind of watch film of, like to kind of like pick apart their game, like who your playing style reminds of?" He started with Bones Highland, which I was like, "My man, we got to work on that answer a little bit." But then he said Jordan Poole, and I was like, "Well, you look like Jordan Poole if Jordan Poole passed." So I think there's a little bit of a microwave with a good looking shot from outside, but like there's also some really smart basketball IQ, like good reads and whatnot. So I don't think he's the J.R. Smith, like, oh my gosh, I'm open, I have to shoot it every time. But I think he can light it up a little bit. We want to see if he can be a little bit more versatile this year, more of a combo guard, but I like him. It's enough flashes as a freshman that you're like, okay, now let's see what you can do with an off season. And if all of a sudden we're taking some steps with the shooting and the volume and the playmaking, I get intrigued. He was a little thin framed last year, but let's see what you got this year.
All right, love it.
Anyone for you?
Yeah, mine is a guy who I absolutely adored watching in person the last 2 years, and I hate that he transferred away. How dare he go back home? But 6'5", 195-pound guard wing Nolan Minessale was at St. Thomas for the last 2 years. Awesome player, absolutely incredible. Like he popped his freshman year when I went to go see St. Thomas for a couple different other teams, and I always went to their games trying to, or specifically for someone else. And every time I went, I left those games being like, he was the best player on the court. Like, and it wasn't even close. And the leap that he's taken every single year, the way that he's reworking his shot, is really exciting. So he's transferring to Marquette, and I think he's going to be an awesome fit there. So last year he had a 31.6 usage, a 58.8 true shooting percentage, 25.9 assist rate, 13.7 turnover rate, 2.0 block rate, 3.1 steal rate, 50.2 free throw rate, shot 58.6% from two, 30% from three, but that was up to that was on 140 attempts or 8.2 attempts per 100, and that leap in volume was absolutely massive because he like over doubled what he did in terms of volume. And his freshman year, you could see that he was just really in his own head about being mechanically sound and reworking his form, because as a freshman he shot 34.7% from three, but it was on 49 attempts, so it's minuscule volume. And for that volume to jump by almost 100 attempts in 1 year, I think is really encouraging. When you look at a lot of his advanced numbers last year and compare it to players across the country, players who had a usage rate over 30, a true shooting percentage over 57, assist rate over 25, and a turnover rate under 15. It was Cam Boozer, Nick Boyd, and Nolan Minessale.
Shout out
But
Nick Boyd.
yeah, he had an incredible year. Nolan is the only one with a block rate of 2 and a steal rate over 3. Include steal rate over 2.5 and a block rate over 0.6 going back to 2008. It's Cam Boozer, Damian Lillard, Cooper Flagg, Derek Marks, and Nolan Minessale. So like this is a dude who just impacts winning, who can do a whole lot of everything, on ball, off ball, 82nd percentile overall points per possession, 67th percentile spotting up, 73rd percentile in transition, 88th percentile in the pick and roll, 87th when you include his passes, 88th percentile in isolation, 91st including his passes, 34th on jumpers, 79th percentile at the rim. So the jumper is the big question in his game, and I'm optimistic with it. I think he's put in a ton of work on it, and he is desperately needed in Marquette's offense, because they sucked last year. 120th in offensive rating, 24th percentile in spot up scoring, 24th percentile in pick and roll scoring, 12th percentile in isolation scoring, 38th percentile in transition. So I think his athleticism, his IQ, I think he's going to be an incredible fit with Marquette.
There's a lot of players in this year's class that are like this, where it's like, hey, they got a real shot to make some noise, even as a returner. So I think that's a great shout. It's fun doing, your database and updating. I know Houston's got a couple returners that last year when I saw them in person, I was like, man, these guys could play.
Yeah.
They Harwell going to Gonzaga. I'm intrigued with, like, there's some guys that, we always say 1 year doesn't tell the story. There's some guys that could bounce back and make some noise as a sophomore, or even juniors, seniors. Like I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a fun class. We always say, like, these classes that are uncertain near the top, most fun, because you're just like, let the games begin, boys. Like, race for number one. Let's get after it, and it is wide open.
And speaking of that race for number one, the last time we talked NBA draft, we wrapped up with a prove me wrong segment where people rationally reacted to some of my skepticism with Tyron Stokes, and you brought a spicy one to the table this week as well. So what is your prove me wrong?
My prove me wrong is Stefan Joksimovic, getting better, is the number one prospect in this class. 6'7", lefty, nasty, vicious, off the bounce, very quick, good looking shot that's going to get better. Crazy man playmaking, and is a MFer at getting to the basket and being tough. I think, he's got some bounce. He's finishing lobs. I think he has the tools, and he's trending up fast. I think he's going to be the number one prospect in this class. This is not a Tyron Stokes hate month. This is not that at all. No. I'm telling you, all of you listeners, I think it's wide open. Stokes is going to be top 3 on my board, easy. He's an amazing talent, but I watched Steph and the growth he's had lately, and there's some to his game. So that's my prove me wrong. People are like, Tyron Stokes. I'm like,
so I can't, because I also have Joksimovic at 1 going into the season. What he did at Eurobasket was insane. Feel, versatility, size, athleticism. I love it. But let me try and play devil's advocate a little bit here,
Perfect.
just so we're not like, oh my god, you're brilliant. What a take.
Yeah, no.
Because
Throw me under the bus. I love this.
boring. So a couple takeaways from the scoring that I do have concerns with. Almost no mid-range game,
Mhm.
where at Eurobasket he was 1 for 12 on mid-range jumpers. I thought some of the finishing stuff was a little inconsistent now as well. Just 52% on layups. He drew a bunch of fouls, but some of the finishing needs some work. The shot, the mechanics get a little funky at times with that low release point. So I as incredible of a tournament as he did have, it wouldn't shock me if the first couple months of his season we see a very different scoring output than what we saw at that tournament.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna the problem why people are gonna play this clip all year. It's gonna be great. The problem why is he's gonna be playing for Baskonia, and he might be the classic, hey, you're not playing major minutes right out of the gate, and he's not gonna be putting up big numbers. But this was as loud of a tournament for scouts around the league as you'll find. This was very loud. And weeks ago I brought up his name to a scout and got a very, ooh, that's a bad man. Like, so I was like, okay, there was buzz before that.
Mhm.
I'm with you. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. He's young, but a 6'7" lethal playmaking ball handler. There's just very loud foundation to start with his game. I agree. The shot needs to come around. He's got to figure out the in between to like just a little elbow jumper or floater would be like, oh gosh, it'd go so far with developing his game. But heck, if he's got it's not only just like the athleticism, the handles, and the playmaking and the scoring upside, he has the FU factor that we don't normally see a lot from the international guards. Like they're tough, but we don't see the I'm going after you. I'm going to go downhill and dunk on you and love it with the full package. So he's a tough kid, and I really, really like him. But I like a lot of these guys. Yes, I still like Stokes. For the YouTube army that wants to say I don't like Stokes. I like Stokes. We both like Stokes. We just are saying this is a wide open year. Joksimovic.
This is about Steph. Forget everyone else.
Oh no, I just can't stand when people say like, "Oh, we just hate."
Ignore 'em.
Give me a break.
They don't matter.
I watch Joksimovic, and that kid's highs are holy crap, number one type of prospect and player highs, without a doubt.
And just while I'm playing devil's advocate,
Bring
I
it.
also want the defense to be better.
Of course you do. You want everyone's defense to be Kawhi Leonard. It's not going to happen, but the defense will get there.
Sorry, I have standards. And like I thought the off-ball stuff at Eurobasket was pretty good. The on-ball needs work with fundamentals, screen navigation, all that kind of stuff. But he has the size to make up for it. And I'm going back through the Adidas Euro camp. And it does look better there. So I'm intrigued to see what kind of defense we get in the regular season, because if that just gets to average and we get the same level of offensive output that he had at Eurobasket, I'd be floored if he's not the number one pick.
Also, fun fact, what is it, August? 3 months, he turns 18. Not turns 19, turns 18. So an 18-year-old point guard as a rookie in the NBA for the first couple months. Like he is very young, very talented, and the skills and talent are trending upward fast. So get on the hype train.
And you got plenty of time because we'll be back next week. This is where we're going to wrap it. Until then, he is Tyler Rucker. You can follow him at Tyler_Rucker. I'm Tyler Metcalf. You can follow me at T Metcalf. Find all of our stuff at NoCeilingsNBA.com. I wrote about a couple of the really fun, unique, intriguing, weirdo big men coming into this freshman class. Go check it out. pods, video highlights, video breakdowns, interviews, all that good stuff over at the No Ceilings channel on YouTube. Like, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars, all that good stuff. Until next time, see ya.